Alright, I got a lot of things to go over in this video, so I'm going to try and keep things fast-paced. In this video that I posted about 4 days ago, I mentioned that I was very interested in that week's weekly close. That video was on Saturday, and today is Tuesday. So the weekly candle closes on Sunday, and yeah, that means we already got the weekly candle close. So let's talk about this candle close and why it is important. So another thing that I mentioned in this video that I posted on Saturday was that we got to move above the last weekly higher high. So following weekly market structure, we are in an uptrend at the moment. We broke the downtrend, the weekly downtrend, once we got a candle close above the last lower high. So we're in an uptrend, but for the last however many months, we've been in a sideways range here, not doing much of anything other than traveling from the high end of the range to the low end of the range and SFPing the weekly market structure points. So this entire time, we never broke the uptrend. We were still in an uptrend, even though we SFP the high at one point. We then came down to SFP the low. Still not breaking structure, still in an uptrend, but it was just not looking very strong. We were in a sideways range. And we're not just forming a sideways range here for no reason. No, we are finding resistance on something. And there are a few things that we're finding resistance on, but, one of the more notable ones that you could say, the one that most people are paying attention to, is the value area low of the bull market, essentially. The value area low of this range that we formed in the bull market is right around the area, whether you take it from this high or this high. The value area low is pretty much what we are holding resistance on in this area. And yeah, it does look better when you pull it from that other high, so just for the sake of the video, I'll do that. And, you can see we're holding pretty perfect resistance on, this value area low. And I know it's different across a lot of exchanges, but for the most part, I think it's about the same. I can check Bybit as well, though. And actually, yeah, Bybit's is better, because when you pull it back to this high on Bybit, it lines up, perfectly, as does the pull from this high, I believe. So yeah, across multiple exchanges, we were holding resistance on the bull market value area low, along with other things as I mentioned. But what has happened here is we have now broken above not only the range high, not only the weekly market structure point, but we have also broken back into the value area range of the bull market. Which, that is cool. I don't think that necessarily means too much, but the fact that we are continuing weekly market structure, I think that is a bit of added confluence to the idea of maybe more upside. The fact that we're now back inside this range, I think that's a good thing. And I would now pay attention to the levels inside this range for resistance. But ultimately, I think the best thing here is that we have gotten a pretty strong break of this weekly market structure point. So if you take a measured move from the break of structure line up to the candle close, I'm actually going to zoom in so I can get this more accurate. So we got to close about 8.35% above the break of structure line. That is a pretty strong close, I'd say. Also, the candle body is larger than the wick. I think just in terms of looking at the candle body, this is looking like a pretty good close. Something else we can do to measure strength is look at the last weekly market structure break. So that would be when we actually flipped market structure from bearish to bullish, and we know that we got an SFP of this lower high first. So the break of structure line moves up to the highest wick above that point, basically before we broke structure. And if you measure this move, this was about a 10% close above the break of structure line, give or take. So it's pretty comparable. This is slightly weaker, you could say, but not by much. I don't think that's really that concerning. So now that we've continued weekly market structure and have gotten back inside this range, what's next? Well, I don't know, but I think in order to build some sort of a healthy uptrend here, at some point we are going to need to get a retracement. Oftentimes you can't have sustained moves just by going straight up, so I doubt we are going to do that. And if we do, there's a good chance that we come down just as fast as we went up. I am still very interested in, this support resistance flip, the value area low retest, and, I think at some point we probably will get that. I think that would ultimately be more bullish, is if we can get a good retest off of this and show interest in buying here. I think that would be more bullish in the long run, maybe we could actually kind of get some sort of a move back up around these highs. And who knows? I mean, maybe we just begin ranging here. I know that seems like a weird idea, but I mean, Bitcoin likes to range. And I mean, I honestly have to say I'm pretty surprised with the fact that we are getting this kind of bullish behavior right now. I don't really pay attention to like the halving cycles or the bull run cycles, at least not personally. I mean, it's stuff I take into account, and I kind of keep that stuff like on the back burner. Like I said, I take it into consideration, but it's not something like I base my trading or my analysis off of. But I do kind of think it's weird that, we're still pretty far away from the halving, and we're kind of getting this really bullish behavior. It ultimately makes me think that it's, either to put in some sort of a lower high before like a large retracement, or it's, like I said, maybe to bring us up to the highs now, in which case, I mean, I doubt we're going to break this high anytime soon, so I would probably expect us to start ranging here at that point. And honestly, I think for the long run, it probably would be more bullish, at least, in my eyes, if we could get some sort of a large retracement, maybe taking out this low again before we make a run at the bull market highs. I think that would look stronger in the long run rather than us trying to push up to these highs now. I don't really see the point in that. So, I'm just kind of making wild long-term guesses here, not even predictions. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. But yeah, I think it's interesting, definitely, that we are continuing this weekly uptrend here and getting back above some significant resistance. This pretty much was the lows of the bull market retracement, this massive retracement that we got in the middle of the bull market. So, we have gotten back above that support resistance flip. So, yeah, things are very interesting. And, I mean, yeah, in terms of weekly plays, like if I'm going to be swing trading this, the only thing I would really look for on the weekly time frame would be some sort of a retracement and look to get in on the next higher low, because if we're still in this uptrend and the uptrend is still looking strong, then it's probably going to put in a higher low at some point. So now let's quickly take a look at some lower time frames. We did get some interesting price action today, and it looks like we're actually dumping here quite a bit. So let's go down to the 1 hour. Let's see what's going on. So we got this very large move to the upside today, and this is an interesting move. I think it's significant. Not just because we took out this wick over here on Binance, but also something I noticed is that on Bybit, we actually took out the high of this massive scam wick. Like, this wick is different across all exchanges. If you go to MEXC, you can see we did not take out that high. On Bybit, we weren't even really close to taking out that high. It's even higher than on MEXC, but we did wick it on Bybit. And Bybit is an exchange that I think has significant price action, so it is interesting that we just came up to wick this high right now. Could this be some sort of a significant top, at least in terms of this range that we're in? Yeah, definitely. Maybe we get a rotation back down to the low end after taking out that wick. I would not be surprised, because we have seen recently, actually, a lot of times Bybit will get an SFP of a wick that is different on other exchanges. Or maybe it's not different on other exchanges. Maybe the wick that actually SFPs it is different across different exchanges, and Bybit is like the only one to SFP the significant level, and we actually get follow through off of those moves. That's happened quite a few times, so I would not be surprised if it happens again. Unfortunately, I didn't short this. I was looking at this wick on Binance. And yeah, I was looking for an SFP of this level or a CDW, which is why I have a chicken there. But unfortunately, we did not SFP that high. So, this I would say is, probably like a 30-minute high. This is not like a high time frame point. This is like a very quick wick that we got to the upside after this massive wick. And as you can see, we did not SFP it on the 30-minute. We got a close above it. So I could not take that trade, at least this trade that I was looking for. And I didn't notice that Bybit SFP'd it until later. But maybe there will be an opportunity to get in on some sort of short here. And honestly, the best thing I could think of would just be like an SFP of this high, maybe. There's not really much to go off of that I'm seeing in this area. I'm on the 5-minute, and there's not much on the 5-minute, so this is kind of a tough situation for trying to get into a short. But also, maybe we don't put in a high here. Maybe we actually do come up for this Binance high. Maybe we end up going higher than that and actually closing above it, and maybe getting a continued move to the upside. I think things are kind of looking bullish on some of the lower time frames here. Looking at the 15-minute, actually, it was looking better a few minutes ago. The VWAP was kind of turning to the upside, looking like we may get a green dot here, but it does seem like it kind of flopped over and turned back to the downside. But the money flow is looking pretty good. It is pretty high in the green. But then again, some of the higher term time frames, the money flow is coming out significantly. So I would not be surprised if we actually do put in a high up here. But also, you can kind of see the 4-hour getting a shift to the upside locally here. Was coming down. Now it's at least starting to slope to the upside. So, that is showing a bit of hope there. The 2-hour just got back into the green and is putting in higher highs locally. So, I think we could maybe see some continued upside here. Maybe we do get another rotation back to the low end of the range. But I honestly think there's a good chance we do go higher before trying to retest this significant area. I think on the weekly time frame, it would look better if we got a further move to the upside before coming back down to get that higher low. And, the daily time frame is still looking very bullish, I have to say. The money flow actually just put in a higher high, which is very interesting. And it looks like, let me remove this drawing. The VWAP is pointing up right now. It's looking like the 15-minute time frame was a few minutes ago. It's looking like it wants to print a green dot all the way up here. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe we get some continuation to the upside here. And, maybe look to get a move up to some of these significant levels. We do have the point of control around 38.7. Let's check the Bybit one and see if it's similar. Yeah, it is 38.8 on Bybit. So, yeah, somewhere around that 38,800, 38,700 area. We have the point of control. And, I'm not going to trade these levels per se if we get a move right up to this point of control and start wicking away. But, with that context in mind, if we start seeing bearish signs up in this area, like maybe market cipher looking bearish or something else, I could look for an entry on a smaller time frame based on this higher time frame idea. So, I will keep that in mind. There's probably some other resistance areas over here just based on price action. So yeah, that's really about it for this video. There's not too much locally at this point. Like I said, that move to the upside was kind of, a tricky one to trade, I would say, because it was just like a straight move up. And, that SFP, that only happened on one exchange. So yeah, there's, not much you can really do to trade this unless you want to take this SFP like this. I'm honestly not confident in it enough to take this trade, especially since it's only a 3-to-1 to the low end of the range. A 3-to-1 isn't bad. If I was confident in this trade, then, that's something I would consider. I may look for an entry on a lower time frame as this develops. Maybe we start ranging here. And, yeah, I'm ultimately interested to see where this higher time frame stuff brings us. I want to see how this develops. So, yeah, that's about it for this one. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, leaving a comment. All of that stuff helps to support the channel, and I really appreciate everyone that does that. And I will see you all in the next video.